Okay, so welcome to lecture once again, guys. Now in this lecture, I will be talking about a Sqoop. So Sqoop is one of the service which is available inside a Hadoop ecosystem, and which is going to help you out in terms of transferring a data from SQL system to a Hadoop file system or vice versa, from Hadoop file system to a SQL system. So let's suppose I have a table, and inside a table, so I have so much of data. But I would like to process those data with the help of maybe a Spark by writing maybe a MapReduce code, or maybe I would like to process those data by writing a simple Pythonic code. But that data should be available inside a HDFS system, so that I will be able to go ahead with the distributed computation, because that is a specialty of a Hadoop ecosystem. And this is where Sqoop comes into a picture. So it's a very small service, but it's a lethal, it's a very, very impactful and a effective service that you all will be able to find out inside a Hadoop ecosystem. So let me show you a demo about that, by the way. So first of all, guys, you have to open up your terminal, and let me increase a size of my font size of the terminal. Now, so like I said, that Sqoop is basically a system, S-Q-O-O-P, as its name suggests. SQL to Hadoop or Hadoop to SQL. If I have to transfer a data, I can try to write a Sqoop job, or I can try to write a Sqoop command. Eventually, with the help of that, I will be able to perform this operation. Now, to perform this operation in my system, MySQL must be available. Yeah. HDFS or Hadoop must be available, and Sqoop must be available. Now, so if I'll talk about a Cloudera, so this distribution which I'm trying to use as of now, and I have already shown you a setup. So if you have not done a setup for this particular Cloudera system, so maybe you can try to go ahead with the complete setup, and then you can try to do this experimentation. So inside that, all of these things are already available. So MySQL is already available, HDFS is already available, and Sqoop service is already available. So you don't have to do any kind of an installation. And even if you are going to spin your EMR cluster on AWS or HD inside on Azure, you will be able to see the exact same thing. Okay. So let's go ahead, guys, and quickly let's try to see the lot of demo in a practical manner. So first of all, I'll have to check my Hadoop version, or Hadoop is available or not. So I'm going to write a command called as Hadoop version. And yeah, Hadoop is available. Similarly, Sqoop, and I can try to type Sqoop version. And yeah, even Sqoop is available, as I can see over here, right? Sqoop is also available. Hadoop is also available. Now let's try to log in into MySQL, and then try to see that whether MySQL is available or not. So to log in into MySQL, command is going to be MySQL, and then user is going to be root, right? And then I'm going to log in it through a password. So hit enter, and password is going to be Cloudera, Cloudera, Cloudera. So just type it, it won't be visible. So MySQL is also available. Now let me clean my screen. So inside MySQL, if you have to clean the screen, then you have to write system clear, and it is going to clean your entire screen. Now here inside this MySQL, so first of all, I'm going to create a database. Yeah, inside database, I'm going to create a table, and then inside that table, I'm going to keep some data, and then eventually I'll try to transfer those data. So as I have already discussed, inside MySQL, I'm going to create a table. I'm going to create a schema over here, and then inside that, I'll try to keep some sort of a data. I will be writing a Sqoop job over here, right? Sqoop job over here. Now this Sqoop job is going to take a charge, and it will try to transfer a data from here to here. In a HDFS file system, it is going to transfer data, and eventually we'll be able to verify those data set. Okay, that's cool. So let's go ahead, and first of all, let's try to create a database over here. So create create database, and if not exists, if not exists, yes, by the way, and then retail database I'm going to create. Okay, so now retail database is available. I can even write so databases, so databases. So these are the database which is already available, and out of that, retail is one of the database which is available to me. I can try to use this database. So use retail, use retail, and don't worry, I'm going to give you all the command inside a file, so that you won't be like doing anything by typing this, all of these things. Maybe you can do a copy paste and you can do the experimentation. And this is how we should do it, right? This is how we should learn it. So here, let me clear my screen. So system clear, and yeah, so database is ready and I have already selected a database. Now let's go ahead and let's try to create a table over here. So first of all, guys, I'm going to create a customer table. So here, let's create a customer table, and inside this customer table, I have a column called as ID, I have a column called as name, I have a column called as email ID, I have a column called as created at, and ID is basically auto increment column, right? So it will try to as we are going to insert the data, so it will keep on incrementing the entire ID. Now let's try to insert some of the data. So insert into customers, and here name, email ID, created at. So name, email ID, created at. So these are the information which I'm going to insert. Like I said, ID is in a auto increment mode, so it will be able to insert the data automatically. Okay, so it has updated. I can try to even check. So select star from customers. Yeah. So customers. Now there is a data which is available to me. Some of the data which is available to me. Fine. That's cool. Now let's go ahead and let's try to create another table. And let me do a system clear, by the way. System clear. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's try to create another table called as order table. Yeah. Order table over here. Now inside order table, I have a ID column. I have a customer ID column. I have a product column, I have a quantity column, I have a price column, order date column, status column, and then this table is basically connected to the previous table which I have already created, right? So customer table. Okay, so order table is already created. Now once it is created, let's try to insert some of the data. Fine, and let's do select star from orders. Yeah. Orders. So even inside the order table, I have a data, and even inside the customer table, I have a data. So I have created basically two tables. Although it's not required, I can try to do experimentation even with respect to one single table, but that's fine. I have just created two tables, and inside that I have inserted the data set. Okay. Now, so once I'm able to insert data, right? Once I'm able to insert a data, now what? Now what? So as per our I think it's became messed up. So let do one thing. Let me open up my Scribble link right over there. I can try to show you the exact same thing. Okay. So yeah. So here, like I said, so inside a MySQL system, we are able to create two tables, right? One is a customer table and one is basically order table. Yeah. Now, so I have to, excuse me, I have to write basically a sqoop command, so that it will be able to transfer a data from MySQL to HDFS file system. Fine. So this is the requirement that I have. So I have to write a sqoop command, and with the help of that, I will be transferring a data from maybe one of these table to a HDFS. And in that way, I will be happy, right? I will be happy. I will be able to run the experimentation. Now to do that, right, inside HDFS, so let's go ahead and let's try to create a directory. Yeah, let's try to create a directory, by the way, so that I will be, transferring all the data inside the directory. So let's try to open up another terminal, right? And I'll just leave my SQL terminal as it is. And here, so I have already prepared the command, and I think we all are aware about HDFS mkdir command, right? So I'm just trying to create a mkdir, and then here, so I'm going to create a directory, right? I'm going to create a directory. So, okay, let's go ahead and let's try to create a directory over here. Now, if I have to cross check that whether this directory has been created or not, so I can do ls, and then I will be able to cross check. So let me remove this p. Okay. So yeah, it is not giving me any kind of error. It simply means that this directory is already available. If you have to cross check once again, so maybe you can remove the last folder name, and then you can try to check. And this basic import directory is already available over here. Fine. Okay. Now what is next? So once my directory is already available and Sqoop service is already up and running inside my system, so I can try to do a Sqoop import. But before doing that, let me explain you this scoop import, how it looks like, by the way. So what scoop import is going to do? So scoop, which is going to invoke your scoop services, and here I'm writing in import. Now to import this entire scoop, so you have to basically connect. So here I'm going to like call JDBC MySQL. It is running inside my Cloudera and at 3306 port. And I'm trying to hit a retail database. Yeah, I'm trying to hit basically what? I'm trying to hit basically a retail database over here. So it will be able to connect. And then I'm trying to provide a username. Username is root and my password is basically Cloudera. So these are the information I'm trying to provide so that it will be able to see my table inside a database, right? And here I'm providing a table name. So now it will be able to connect. It will be able to see the table. So this is one part. Then here I'm trying to provide a target directory. Means, okay, do one thing. So go to this database, go to this table. I have already given you a user ID and password. And then we are giving a target directory that, okay, so just try to transfer the data from that MySQL or the SQL table that I have created to this particular directory. And this directory is basically a HDFS directory that we have created just now, right? So this is a directory that we have created just now. And here, so number of mapper means a number of executor which you are supposed to call is equals to 1. You can try to give multiple mapper, that's completely fine. Field terminated by a tab, right? And then compress. So now if you are going to execute this scoop import inside your Cloudera VM, it is going to, right? It is going to start a job and it will take some time, right? It will take some time. It is going to run the mapper and everything will be visible to all of you. And one by, so as you can see that it has started running a job, right? It has started running a job and it has started calling a mapper and reducer. And again, so if you will go inside your browser, right? If you'll go inside the browser and if you are going to check that what and all jobs are running, so you will be able to check that particular part as well. Yeah. So snapshot startup progress, that's completely fine. Let's go inside a okay, so now if you will go inside a Hadoop Yarn resource manager, you will be able to see a cluster job. And let's suppose if I'm going to click on finish job, so I'm able to see that yes, it has called this application, and it is trying to run some map reduce job, right? And status is basically finished. You can try to check, you can try to run it once again, and then you will be able to check it once again that in a new job, so it has been submitted. And again, the status will keep on changing. Status will keep on changing automatically as my job is going to progress. And I can try to click and then I can try to even dig deeper into that particular job. I can even try to check its respective log. So here now if I'll go back this one, so it is telling me that, okay, so it has done all the operation and I'm able to see all of these logs, how many byte it is trying to read, and then it is able to write what was the job ID, each and everything I will be able to see it over here, right? Each and everything. Now I have to cross verify that whether my data set is available or not. Yeah, I just have to cross verify. Now to cross verify, maybe I can do a Hadoop ls and ls into a basic import. Fine, Hadoop ls into a basic import. Let me decrease a size one step back. Okay. So here, if I'm going to check this directory, you will be able to find out that there is a folder it has created called as order.txt. And I believe this was the folder which I have asked it to create, right? Order.txt. Now, if I'll go and do a ls of this order order underscore text text, I will be able to see my file. Okay, so it was orders, not order. So yeah, now I'm able to see this file, right? So it has basically created this file and part file basically, and it is able to store a data over here, right? It is able to store a data over here. So this is how I'm able to transfer data, guys. So successfully we are able to run the job, right? Successfully we are able to run the job. Now, if I would like to see some of the data which is available here, So I can try to do even hdfs dfs cat command, and cat command is going to give me some of the data which is available inside this particular file. Now the reason is very simple, why my file is available into a compressed format, because when I was running a command, so I have given this compress. Now if I'm going to run a command without this compress, for example, right, so without this one, so it will not try to create a zip, it is going to create a part file, because if data is available into a zip, I have to unzip it, means I have to bring it to a local and then I have to unzip it, then only I will be able to see the data. So let's run this command once again. And once again, it will go to my SQL system. And in between, so I can, okay, so data order txt already exists. That's a problem, not an issue. So let me do one thing. Let me delete that, or maybe I can try to change my command over here. So order text, so make it S over here, right? Make it S so that it will be able to run. So clear clear, and then try to run this command. It is going to create a directory called as orders.txt, and inside that it is going to save the job. Now if I'll come over here and if I'll just try to check that what are the new job which has been submitted, or what is like a job which is running as of now, so you will be able to see there is one job, there is one application ID which is still running, right? It is running inside the container, and yes, we are running the job. And now it has been finished. Yeah, now it's been finished. Now it is able to store all the data inside that particular directory. Okay, that's cool. Now, if I have to see the data, that what kind of a data it is able to load inside this one, I can do one thing. So I can try to write hdfs, dfs basically, and ls, and then this directory. Yeah. So it should show me the part file. Yeah, this time it has not compressed it, so it is showing me basically a part file. Okay, that's cool. Now if I have to check that what kind of a data which is available inside this part file, so I can try to check that as well. So let's do it. So here I'll just change this ls to a cat. Let's change it to a cat, by the way, cat, and then at the end give this complete path of this file. Yeah, so here order slash, not here, so at the end order slash, and let me move my screen. Yeah, so here slash text, and file name is part hyphen m hyphen 1 2 3 4 5. Fine, let's do it. So yeah, this is the data, guys, that we are able to see, right? This is the data which it is able to store into a part file format, and part file is nothing but it's a hdfs file format. So successfully we are able to transfer a data from a MySQL system to a Hadoop system. We can do it vice versa as well, which I will show you in a later stage. But yeah, so successfully we are able to transfer a data from one system to another system, and that looks cool to me. That looks cool to me. So successfully we are able to do the experimentation with respect to a Sqoop system. With that, thank you so much everyone. Take care and see you again.